Psalms 55 and verse 22 says, "Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved." Giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yehoshai, Bahashem, Charakah, Kodash, double honors to all the elders and the apostles, both great millstone, shouts to all the sincere elect out there. As we know it, keep fighting. So, prayer for the destruction of the treacherous, right? Put up those prayers. In way of reminder, we're going to get through some of the Psalms here. Psalm 55, right? Just going to read through, get into certain words, Lord willing it be edifying. So let's catch it from 16. It says, "As for me, I will call upon the Lord, Yahweh thy power shall save me." So yeah, we're going to be calling upon the Lord more so. We're doing it now, right? Getting into that routine. It's all about talking the talk. We got to walk the walk too. Putting up those prayers. We see what's on the horizon. The scoffers are showing their ugly horns, the true scoffers, the true haters of the prophets, right? And you got a lot of haters in the prophets that claim to be men of the Lord, right? They claim to be men of the Lord. So hence we got to get into putting up those prayers, aka curses. As for me, I will call upon Yahweh thy power, and he shall save me. Evening and morning, at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. All right, man, because yeah, man of the Lord have to be going through it, and we go through it. As a matter of fact, let me check something out now. Let's just check out something here. We go to. Let me read this one. "Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved." I want to check this out. Get into some of the see what it says on the commentary. Could we be underestimating? We don't want to be underestimating these powerful affirmations, these powerful prayers. So Psalms. Let me see what it says here on the commentaries. Yeah, introduction to Psalms, value of the Old Testament, right? Expressed in the New Testament, it says, "For whatever things were written before were written for our learning, that we through the patience and comfort of Yahweh the scriptures might have hope." Comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Here you have it, Romans 15 and 4. All right, that's where we get this comfort from. Whatever were written in times past were written for our instructions, as warnings, as affirmations, as prayers, as comforts. 1 Corinthians 10:11. "Now all these things happened to them as examples, so they're not just novels or stories, jacanaries. You don't just read the Bible like some novel book or romantic novel or any other types of book, right? It's all, now all these things happened to them as examples, as they were written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the ages have come." Yep. Let me ask a question. Just a quick question here. Admonition. We get from Google. Admonition meaning. There you have it there. Warnings. Admonition is a warning or peace or advice that includes a gentle reprimand for, there you have it, misbehaviors or cautions about potential faults. So admonitions, right? So it gives you we get good admonitions when you go through the Psalms. Don't be underestimating them, and we know we don't. Yeah, let me read this one as well. This is let me read it. But you must continue in the things which you have learned. Yeah, this is Timothy, 2 Timothy chapters 3, 14 and 17. And be assured of knowing from whom you have learned them, and that from childhood you have known the holy scriptures, which are able to make you wise for salvation. Yeah, once again, the most popular book, best-selling book, is the scriptures. And through the scriptures, reading them, putting them into practice, right? It's otherwise described as a shield and buckler, right? The word of the Most High, as David said, is a shield and buckler unto him. And Timothy also said, or Apostle Paul said to Timothy, when you apply them, learn them that from childhood you have known the holy scriptures, which are able to make you wise for salvation through faith, which is in Yahushua HaMashiach. All scriptures is given for inspiration of Yahweh and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of Yahweh may be complete, thoroughly equipped for every good work. Right, the scriptures will be coming to my mind now. Ephesians chapter 6, right? That a man will be thoroughly competent, completely equipped, thoroughly, right? That's that suit of armor, right? The shield, the sword, the helmet, right? And your foot shod, ready for battle. So let me just go back and read. I just wanted to bring some of this in way of reminder. Brothers done know already. I want to get into another word here. Let me finish. Go back and where was I? Psalms. I jump down to Psalms 55 and 22 says, "Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved." The word sustain. Now let me ask a quick question with this. Sustain. Sustain meaning, right? Strengthen, right? Strengthen in the Hebrew, kazak, rapayim, strengthen, healing, or shalak, kazak, wa rapayim, right? Send strength and healing. So sustain, right? Strengthen or support physically or mentally. There you have it. That's the point. To continue for extended periods or without interruption. On point there, sustain with Google. That's the meaning there. So that's the power of these scriptures, or knowing them and believing in them with that faith. So, all right then. So I jump down to 22. That's really the point. But I'm going to read some other more verses too, just to highlight some more words. Psalm 55 and 19 says, "God shall hear." No, 18. "He hath delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me." King David, right? Did he not say the Most High has taught his hands to war, King David, and he was delivered in the heat of battle? His hands were taught to war, but when it got so intense, Most High abducted him via one of the angels, via the chariot, put him in a safe place. So yeah, I believe in the spirit, as the scripture done tell us, everything were written for aforetime for our instruction. We're going to get into that again, right? His men, his Lord, right? Hence why we continue to call upon the Lord. Cast our burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee, right? Strengthen us, keep us in that sacred place, and when it gets intense, to protect us, right? And Lord willing, that's the ultimate thing we're looking for, is salvation. Revelations chapters 11. To hear that voice, "Come up hither. He hath delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me." And there's always knowing enemies, the known enemies, right? And then you got the ones that be morphing morphing and shape shifting, through could be any potential friend or family. The agents that be shape shifting, the demons be jumping on them, right? Or wives. But the Most High says, or King David said, He have delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. God shall hear and afflict them. He's gonna make your enemy his enemy. So when you pray and you call to him, God shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not God. They don't fear God. Hence why we're hearing all these kind of mad, which we're going to get into some of these outlandish sayings that a lot of so-called prophets are saying, false prophets, that the heathens can be saved. We're going to get into that, right? These are demons, man. Demons be jumping on on people, on so-called prophets, for them to show their true colors. Man, going is of the Lord, and it's all of the Lord, right? Most High is making every wicked person reveal themselves. The wicked shall wax from bad to worse. Right? He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. Right? And you think about the Native American Indians that were, they made treaties with them. The Americans, so-called Americans, the devils, right, made treaties with the Native American Indians, the Reubenites and the Gadites, North American Indians, and the Seminole Indians, and they broke every single one of them, over 500 treaties. We apply that to those, but we can also apply this to the wicked of our own people. Right? When you talk about, the scripture says in Sirach, never trust thine enemy. 12 and 10, or 10 and 12, never trust thine enemy. That can go for any of those any of those shape-shifting demon-like of our own people too. Right? Because you're standing for something. When you stand for something, people that don't stand for something, demons potentially can jump on them, as the saying goes, and they can fall for anything. Once again, you're hearing these scoffers coming out, and we're going to get into it, right? They're naming and shaming themselves, right? You know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to concentrate on this, the point I'm bringing out here. It says, He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He have broken his covenant, right? It's that wicked lack of integrity that our people have, not standing for anything. And also the devil, who are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So you can't trust them. They're about that. Let me read on, 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. They just really want to get up close to you. That's why they be smooth with it. They be smooth with the words, sweet talking, but war was in his heart. That's how the devil be working. And once again, the 2/3 too, not standing for anything. So that's what they use. That's the MO of a devil. Smooth talking, sweet talking, to get up close to you so that they can, stab you in your back. But war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn sword. But back to the point I opened up with it. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. So let's get into that. As we know, we already looked it up, what it said. To strengthen, when we looked it up in the Google, let's see what the blue letter says. That we have to keep going over this as a broken record, Lord willing. The power of the affirmations of the Psalms, went into some of that too. Everything that was written for us were written for our instruction as a comforter. Sustain says the H3557. Right, there you have it. Okay, contain, hold in restraint, supports, endure. Yep, because as we know it, we're hearing about all the withdrawals of the support which is in place. Well, I mean, it kind of, as we're hearing over there in America, how they bringing about their Satan. Satan is withdrawing. When you get into it, the book of Revelation, to bring in the balance, Revelations chapters 12 and Revelations chapters 12 and 14 says, and the woman was given 2 wings of the great eagle, that she might fly unto the wilderness, unto a place where she is nourished from a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. Yep. So the woman is Yashua Allah, right? Israel, otherwise known as Israel, which is a people before it was a place. And the 2 wings of an eagle is just represents flight. It's not literal, just represent flight. That she may fly unto the wilderness. The wilderness is America, or the wilderness is, she is nourished by the face of the serpent. The wilderness is northwest Africa, right, where she fled, right, in at that diaspora around the 16th century, and the place is America, Babylon, right. The time and times and half a time is 350 years. And it began. It's ending around the 70s. So the wings also, when you go back to 70 AD, when the Romans they besieged the temple, the sacred temple. The Romans destroyed the temple. They besieged it for a time. Then there was given warning, right? Yashua Allah was given warning at this time of the siege to flee around 38 to 39 years in advance, or 40 years in advance. That was in 70 AD. And the Romans destroyed the temple. They looted it, the sacred contents, right? But the woman, she took heed, right? The elect took heed, the woman, or Israel, which is a people before it's a place, right? She fled, and she's nourished the face of the serpent, right? Nourished by the face of the serpent, the wilderness, right? So when you hear about being nourished by the serpent, that's all those supports, all the different types of supports. Be the what they call it, Section 8, and all these different types of supports. And even for those of us brothers and brothers over there in America, that's being withdrawn. A lot of the work, brothers be laid off. Hence the introduction of the AI. So brothers who once had nice jobs, they're hearing now their jobs ain't as secure. People have actually been laid off. You hear about all the government workers that are laid off too. So that's that serpent withdrawing the nourishment, and we also were nourished by the serpent. But that actually started to withdraw, or it's overdue, and it happened around the 70s. So just to back up the point, why I brought that out, get back to where we were, right? Psalms 55 and 22, right? Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain you. And hear the word once again: sustain, support, right? That's going to be the where we're going to get our support from, right? Brothers who relied upon the devil, Satan, right? Once again, there's going to be a transformation. We're going to be nourished as we are anyway, right? Because even a lot man's guidance of the Lord is through Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He put them in the position to do that, be nourished, right? Or the government, right? Or otherwise known as Satan, right? Once again, right? Serpent, right? Nourished by the face of the serpent, Yeah, and to the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly unto the wilderness, unto a place where, right? The wilderness is all different diasporas, parts of Africa, right? The diaspora, the 16th century, right? And the place is America, right? Or Babylon, right? In the wilderness, right? Unto a place where she is nourished for a time and after time. That's 350 years. That started to that started its ending around the 70 in the 70s, right? By the face of the serpent. But once again, that was all man's guidance of the Lord put in place there by the Most High. Anyway, so they don't get no credit for that, right? To support, once again, to contain, hold in restraint, to support, right? That's the point. Contain, sustain. Most High sustain us. And do your due diligence. Once again, let's get back to do your due diligence. That's really the point. Do your due diligence. Back to Psalm 55 and 22. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. There he shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But thou, O God, shall bring them down. That's the point too, right? We're seeing the unraveling of Nero, 47, his unraveling, right? We saw what happened to Biden. He went senile, right? He went off the rails. And that's what the Most High be using his weapon, the left-hand side sword, to bring about judgment upon his own people. Also, he did that. Also, he used Pharaoh, as we know it, in the times of the Exodus. He used Pharaoh. And then what did he do? He drowned him. He drowned him and all his soldiers, right? So they all unravel in the end, right? The left-hand sword is only but for a moment. Nero, Biden, and all these ones that are come and gone, they're just but for a moment. But thou, O God, shall bring them down unto the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall never live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. That's just the point. That's all I need to bring out. Matter of fact, just to put the icing on the cake, get into some more, go over some of this NLT. What does it say? Give your burdens to the Lord, and he will take care of you. He will not permit the godly to slip and fall. Right, and they're all good, but that's just the point right there. Right, once again, give your burdens to the Lord, and he will take care of you. He will not permit the godly to slip and fall, because these devils, once again, they're here today, they're gone they're gone tomorrow. The Most High just using them as a sword. Right, cast thy burdens, NIV, cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Right, because it's a solid foundation. Because why? When it comes to that comes to my mind what Yahushua said in red letters: build your house upon the rock and not upon the sand. The warrior of Hashim Shai, because that's the foundation. The rock is the foundation, and it will never be shaken. The warrior of Hashim Shai, Kala Yahweh Hashim Shai. Until the next one.